upload the entire video. So I'm gonna do that.
Alright, I think it's live streaming now. I don't know what was wrong with it before.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so I know you were saying that the cops seemed like they were trying to talk you out of helping me. Could you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. So, yeah, they were, well, when I was talking to the trooper, he was kind of just not really taking what was going on seriously. He was kind of just acting like nothing was really going on. Like, I was getting worked up over nothing, kind of like, I was just worried over someone who wasn't really going through anything that should have caused me to be worried in the first place. And then when Sergeant Jones called me, she was basically saying stuff like, that you just tripped on yourself when the sheriff was trying to arrest you, or when he asked one to arrest you. And this is all stuff that Burr said to her, She didn't even see the video when she told me this. Like, she told me that she hadn't even seen the body cams or anything like that. So she didn't even actually know what she was talking about because, like, she didn't even see it. And, she was saying that you tripped on your own feet and that you were kicking and screaming over nothing and nobody had touched you or anything when you were screaming.
I was in cuffs. I tripped myself while I was in cuffs. How could I be in cuffs with nobody touching me? I'm sorry, go ahead. I shouldn't have interrupted you.
It's alright. Yeah, see, that's the part. Like, she didn't even know what the hell she was talking about. And, like, all I could do was listen to her because, I wasn't there to see it either. So, I feel like she took advantage of that, too, because she knew that I hadn't seen anything. I was just on my phone. And, she was just talking about you, like, you're just a person who was crazy and that everyone has tried to help and you just always refused it. She was saying, oh, we just don't know what to do with him, and we tried to get him help, but, he's always refusing, kind of like there was really no helping you because even if someone tried to, you wouldn't accept it.
Well, see, that's the thing about it being their word versus mine. I got to go through literally thousands of hours worth of videos and recordings to find the bits and pieces that they're asking for, and I need help with that, and that's what I needed your help with. That's what I need somebody in person to help me with, is processing all of that. I mean, it's a lot to go through.
Yeah.
And then not having the ability to do it because I'm not a tech savvy guy, and then I got to try to edit out just the parts that they want so that I can send just that part to them out of 2.5 hour videos or 2.5 hour audio recordings, and that's even worse because I don't know how to post those even to YouTube. I just gotta, like, literally, I was playing them on one computer and holding that computer as close to the other computer as I could. That way I could play it on one computer to record it onto the other. That way it would still go on YouTube because I don't know how to do any of that post processing or editing or any of that, and there's nobody to teach me,
Yeah. Yeah. But even while being over there, a lot of times you'd just be asking for something simple, and I could already see their face like, like it was just such a bother to do anything for you, and it was really frustrating. It's like your job is to help, isn't it? Why are you acting like we're asking for too much?
And how many officers do you think we spoke to between the ones at the jails and the ones at in their offices and the ones on the phone? And how many do you think that we spoke to altogether?
Let's see. Well, I remember Burr, I remember Jones, and then that other one who just spoke to me for like a few minutes to tell me he would forward the message. I don't remember his name. That's already 3. And there's the officer we went in to see that he was there when you were in the hospital, and then that's 4 now. And on the phone we tried talking to State Patrol. We tried talking to I don't remember what they're called, the people from Troop E, and then there was the ones in Cheyenne County, and I don't even remember how many it was. It was so many that I can't even keep track right now.
That's my
And
life. That is literally my life. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
it's alright. But yeah, that was my first time actually trying to talk to so many, law enforcement people, and it was kind of hard for me already, because I'm not really the best at communicating and all that kind of stuff. So I could just imagine you having to do this on a daily basis or every single time somebody tells you to just call a number.
Yeah, I
And it's
got
really
thousands.
inconsiderate because, sorry, what were you saying?
I said, yeah, I've made thousands of calls, but go ahead. What you've got to say is important.
Yeah, but no, I just think it's very inconsiderate too because a lot of people, everybody already knew, at least in chapel, right, that you had issues, and nobody actually wanted to help, and that's the thing that really got to me too because around here, where I'm from, people do kind of take a bit more pride in helping out people, especially when they have problems and stuff like that. But even here, you're gonna see the same thing, except at least here there's people who have a bit more support. And so just seeing how you have to handle all that stuff on your own, I mean, I don't know how the hell.
They give me moral support. Does that count?
What happened?
I said, some of them give me moral support. Does that count?
Uh,
I'm rooting for you,
I
bud.
guess. I mean, it's to an extent it can be considered help, but when you know that something is going on and you can do more than just moral support, I mean, can you really call it support
When
at
you
that
saw it
point?
or heard it and you say nothing, there's no such thing as moral support if you don't come forward.
Exactly.
That's the thing with
So,
you is that while everybody else was making excuses, you actually came forward. You actually spoke up.
yeah,
You didn't say, "Oh, well, I'm having too many problems of my own to speak up about this." I mean, you said that you would, and then, unlike everybody else, you actually kept your word.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
just
well,
wish
that's how
more
it
people
should be. I
did
mean,
that.
so many problems could have been avoided if someone would have done it. Someone who clearly could have and just didn't. Yeah,
I can't make him be the good guy, but I'm also not the bad guy. I mean, I don't get why they would even want to do that. It doesn't make any sense to me why people wouldn't come forward when they want to complain all the time about how they're treated by the cops, and then the cops do this to me, and they just don't care, or they say that they care, but they just never speak up.
yeah.
I mean, I got
Well,
that guy that I was staying with, and Wendell and Sandy. I got all their stuff recorded. It's not like I can't just post it on YouTube and let the whole world know. But the thing is, I don't want to do that. I want them to be able to come forward on their own in court. And Scott scared the shit out of the dude I was staying with. He's afraid of having his kids took. And I mean, Scott just pulled all sorts of tricks and stops there. I talked to him about it, and he spilled the beans all about what Scott did coming over to his house and basically using his position to try to scare my friend into not saying nothing. And I want it to be turned over to somebody who's going to do something. The problem is all of this stuff that I'm dealing with right now is over stuff that never should have happened.
yeah. You're right about that. It really shouldn't have. Especially because we like to talk about how the police is there to help and they're there to, you know,
They ended
make
up treating me
justice,
like I was
enforce it.
crazy. On that video that I posted, I'm talking about the threats from Sandy Fromm, and like they don't acknowledge that. At the very end of the video, I'm asking, Trooper Burr, I'm saying, hey, do you think that it's appropriate that I have to go to the very officers that I've tried to turn in for 3 years? He didn't even answer. I said, he said that he turned that in 2018 when I tried telling him about what Han had done and all that. He said he turned it in, but nobody ever called me back. Nobody ever requisitioned those body cameras. If they had, then those body cameras, that evidence wouldn't have been destroyed.
Yeah.
he claimed that the cameras were on his vehicle, and that the vehicle, even though it was like 30 yards away, could tell what we were saying. He said, "Yeah, if it can tell what we're saying, when I'm talking to a trucker on the side of the interstate, it'll record what it is that you and I were saying." But he also said that it was destroyed after a year. I'm like, see, that's the thing, is that for over a year, you guys kept on jumping me from place to place to place. Each one of these officers and agencies helping each other out. And it all started with them not doing their job before Natalie died, and then them going out of their way to hide the fact that they didn't do their job after she died. And definitely helping out Waylon Low. I mean, holy hell.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just looking at the videos, it doesn't really take anybody special to just look and see what the hell's going on. There's
I
a
told true
lot
stories.
of videos. Yeah. And that's just YouTube, anybody can find those. And, the people that I've seen, I mean, from what I've heard, I've been the only one who actually tried doing something. I mean, I know you said that there's some that sent you money or something and they try to give you some words or whatever, but, as far as someone actually, trying to get there, nobody has. Even people who were there, something would always happen.
And that money doesn't do me any good with everything that's going on. I mean, a lot of the people that wanted to help me, they didn't follow through, and it ended up screwing me. Like, I can't get a bank account because my dad didn't follow through. He knew that I didn't have the ability to do any of those things. I didn't have the money, and I needed to get my money back, or I wouldn't be able to afford that vehicle. But he was insistent, and I know how my dad is. You do it his way, or you're screwed. You do it his way, or he gets condescending, and he talks to you like you're a fucking animal. Like you're a stupid animal. And I'm like, Dad, I have an IQ of 172. You have an IQ of 89. I don't think that there's any sort of comparison here.
Yeah, it doesn't matter though, because he's dad and he's always right.
Yeah, he's also the one that spent years in prison for selling cocaine. 38 counts cocaine possession with intent to sell, plus trying to sell an AR-15 to an undercover officer. I broke a lot of laws, but I broke those laws to try to red flag so that I could prove the things that I'm telling are true. Because these people who told me they were going to come forward, they didn't, and they didn't, and they didn't. And more people are dead. And the longer it takes these people to come forward, they don't get to pretend that I'm the bad guy. My loved ones are dead. They're dead.
Yeah.
Like, you got to talk to that thing with Alexis. Like, that's not a joke. That actually legit happened. And that's just one of hundreds of people that are dead because
police won't do their jobs.
they won't do their jobs. They won't listen to homeless males, especially if they can call them mentally ill. Because if they screw up, it's no big deal. They just call them mentally ill and nobody listens. With all these people who stabbed me in the back and threw me away because I recorded videos with them and posted them on the internet, those videos showed that I was telling the truth. So if those videos show that I was telling the truth, why are they so angry? If it was the truth, then why did they hide when it was on the internet? Why didn't they come forward in court about those things like they said that they would?
Yeah.
I suppose I should let you tell the story best you can, though, because you know a lot about it.
Yeah. Which part do you want to talk about?
Mm, well, did any of those officers at all that we talked to seem to take anything that we said seriously?
No, none of them. They all really, I mean, different words, same meanings, They didn't really feel like it didn't really seem like they actually cared. Officer Jones, she did try to make it out to be like she cared about your well being and you, but like, what she said it all, like You know, even if she could say, "Oh, we've tried all we can, and we just don't know what to do." I mean, like that already told me that they weren't really trying. Because if you really were trying, you would have understood that this wasn't about getting him help. That was, you know, mental help. It wasn't about trying to control you in your, you know, what they called outbursts or whatever tantrums. She called them. You know,
My
it
friends
was
are dead.
about,
Fuck that, you know.
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like the entire time that you called and were seeking help, it wasn't even, a lot of times it wasn't even about you. They made it out to be like it was all about you, like every single time you showed up, it was because something about you. But, you know, you were trying to turn in a lot of things that weren't about you. It was about people, you know, who were in trouble, people who needed help, people who were in danger, people who were at risk of losing their lives, and they did. And none of them care, you know. They didn't even mention any of that. They didn't mention anybody that you tried to get their attention about, you know. Like they were just talking about you, and then they talked about tantrums and outbursts and you know the kicking and screaming and just, you know, they didn't take it seriously at all. They just kind of treated like you were some crazy homeless man just yelling about whatever, you know. Like you just lost your mind and there was nothing they could do about it, and they were just like, oh, just ignore him, he'll leave soon, you know.
Well, they're trying to hit me up in every state. Matter of fact, if I go back to Nebraska, they're gonna arrest me. And if I stay here, they're gonna arrest me. There's nothing I can do. I need people to actually fight, to actually speak up. I mean, anywhere that you can share it, anybody that you can get to share it, anybody that you can get to speak up. I'm not going to deny the fact that I broke a lot of laws. I broke those laws out of necessity, and that is illegal defense in the United States. People's lives were at stake, and people did die because I was not heard. And that means that those police and those departments, every one of them, can be held liable and responsible, up to and including the judges. This is one of the very few things that judges, even federal judges, can go to prison for.
And that's what they're afraid of, isn't it? You
It
know,
is.
none of them want to get in trouble. They don't want to cover their tracks.
But you didn't get to see any of that stuff, did you?
No, I only saw I guess their masks of them pretending to care, pretending to, you know, to be concerned about you. You know, they talked to me, you know, like there's a lot of stuff I already knew, and they were really acting like I didn't know. You know, they just said all these things, kind of like, you know, they almost basically saying, "Oh, don't waste your time on him." You know, you can't help him. You won't help him. You know, they didn't say that, but the way they talked about you was like they really wanted to make it feel like there was really no point in helping you because you weren't gonna get anything out of it, and I would just be wasting my time.
Well, if you'd have been able to see more of the evidence, you'd have been able to see all of that. Like you got to see the. How many pieces of paper do you think there are between those two traveling airplane cases? The behind ones. How many pieces of paper would you guess are in between those two?
Probably hundreds, maybe like 500. It was a lot of papers. You know, you could probably fill up one of those file cabinets with it.
Yeah, that's a lot more than 500, though. There's probably 800 pieces of paper in the little one, and there's probably close to 1,000 in the big one. All of them show that I was telling the truth, but I don't know how to format it so I can show it on YouTube. If I show that stuff on Facebook, especially at the beginning, people just called everything spam, and evidence was disappearing left and right. But it proves that I was telling the truth from the start.
Yeah, it'd be really great to really sort that out and show everybody all of it, you know, so they can't say that it's fake or anything. I mean, there's always going to be assholes that say, like, oh no, that's just this, that's just that, you know. There's always going to be someone trying to do that crap, but it's going to get to a point to where nobody can say anything, and even if they do, you know damn well that they're lying.
Yep. So, how many miles did you travel to come see me?
I think it was about 2000 or near 2000.
And the
You know,
things
it was
that you were going
like
to help
almost
me
all the
with,
way across the country.
they basically cut us off from all of the help that you were going to provide me, did they not?
Yeah.
Did we get to go through and look through all that evidence like we were gonna?
No, we didn't even get to see it. Like, I wouldn't even say we could even, you know, we didn't even scratch the surface, you know? We basically just touched it. That was it.
But you got to see that stuff from Andre Gagasian, the weapons dealer guy.
Yeah, and I got to see the messages between you and Natalie, which were clearly not predator versus prey. It was two regular people talking.
She was my best friend, you know. That's the thing, is that, like, we were adults. It's not like I was messaging a 13-year-old girl trying to get her to come touch my privates.
Yeah. And all the messages were friendly. There was nothing sexual ever from what I saw. There was nothing about you and her, anything romantic. You know, it was all just friendly stuff, sharing artwork, you know, nothing that anybody would actually be concerned about if they were to see it, you know?
Exactly. And that's the thing, like, she saved my life. She rescued me from the Boulder Police Department, and after she died, that's where I was sent, right into the lion's den.
Yeah.
All the stuff with her dad, like, when you get to the, and you didn't even get to the part about her Uncle Troy. I mean, there is so much in that. And then there's the messages between Alicia and I that you didn't get to see yet. And there's the messages. See, I'm trying not to. I have overwhelming anxiety attacks just from the possibility that somebody's real name might be leaked and they might be threatened, harassed, assaulted, or attacked the way that many others have. Like Candace Bondurant, the cops did the same thing to her that they did to you. They did the same thing to a lot of these people. They just say, hey, he's crazy. Like, you know, in each one of these places, there was somebody who was either violent or screamy the whole time I was there, or I was cut off from the resources the whole time.
Yeah.
Up at Lana and Amanda's, I was cut off from the evidence. I didn't want it destroyed, so I had to shut off my Facebook. At Shannon and Alvarado's, I couldn't make any of the calls during the day or make any of the videos during the day that I needed to because she was afraid somebody would hear her yelling at her daughter and she'd get her daughter taken away for child abuse. So I'm like, no, that's not how it is. Your daughter is autistic. They understand. At least they better try.
Yeah.
But the issue at Shannon's at night was that Shannon was constantly screaming at night. She was always drunk. If it was her that was drunk, then she was drunk and mean to anybody who said anything. So you didn't dare say anything. And I did say something to her twice about it. I was trying to explain the situation, and she turned on me like that. So, like, after that, I was too afraid to speak, just like Atlanta's. When I didn't have sex with her and she felt rejected, like, after that, no matter what I said, it got me yelled at. And then Amanda Ingline being mad at me and pretending like I played video games the whole time I was up there. I didn't even have video games I could play. While she watched Game of Thrones the whole time I was there, and that's traumatic as all hell. With Rayanne Ingersoll, she was drunk the whole time. I mean, drinking a 175 rum every single day, and she is so tiny. She was probably 98 pounds soaking wet. Also, the guy here, he's experienced a lot of the same things as me, and he knows a lot of the same people as me. Like, I didn't even know Alexis was his sister.
Yeah. He was telling me about himself and a lot of stuff that he's been through, and it's pretty damn painful, you know. It really looks like honestly, I don't know who's had it worse, but it doesn't really matter who's had it worse. It just matters that we're all trying to help each other out now, and that, you know, this.
I'm listening. You what?
No, I'm sorry. Have somebody walk into the room. What were we saying?
Oh,
I'm sorry?
I was trying to listen to you.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, he did tell me about a lot of the problems that he had and a lot of things that he's been through, you know. It's a lot, you know, and the fact that the police were involved in some ways with him too, and the way they fucked him over too, it's just like, you really start to see that it's, this is everywhere, and people, oh, I don't know, like, there's a lot of people around here that just are so, I don't know, ignorant or just misinformed, there's some people who just talk about the police with the best, things to say. And I mean, I can understand that, yeah, there are cops that you'll see that they are kind and all, but when you look at how many people die at the hands of the police and people who didn't do anything wrong, except maybe just try to survive and they just probably didn't want to die of hunger or of cold or of having nowhere to stay, or, people who were victims and got treated like it was their fault. Like a lot of stuff that happened to me personally, I didn't really get help from the police either, but comparing my problems to yours, like, it wasn't the same, but I guess the similarities is that the police didn't help me either, you know? So, I mean, I don't know.
You're brown, though. You're lucky you didn't get arrested in Logan County with me.
Yeah, I count my lucky stars that we didn't. I really thought that we were all going to go down. But, yeah.
Well, the thing is, you guys didn't do anything wrong, and neither did I.
Yeah. The only difference is, I guess, that's the thing I still don't understand. They told us both that you had no warrants, and out of nowhere you had warrants. And for us, well, obviously we're clean, but, I don't know how that works out. I don't know if they knew that there were, they just said there wasn't, or they made up those warrants and then they made us pay for nothing.
No, those officers knew that they were there. They lied to a lot of people. They didn't just lie to you.
Yeah.
They had to lie to a lot of people. They said I was trying to manipulate people too. And you're right, or they were right. I was trying to manipulate people into telling the truth.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if you can't tell the truth, don't tell me you love me. People are hurting me. If you loved me, you'd want to do something to get them to stop.
Yeah.
And that is manipulation. But it's the truth. Like when I say I want my life to end, I'm not doing that to manipulate you. I'm doing it to tell you the truth.
Yeah. But you probably take it the wrong way. When you say that, it does hurt just because I wouldn't want to see you gone, I know what you've been through. I don't even know the half of it. I just know what you've told me and what I've seen on the videos and all that stuff.
But I recorded the actual situations, not just the videos. Like there's 5 things that I could have posted today that were actually, I think there's probably close to a dozen things I could have posted today that are conversations between us, but I don't, because it's got personal information in it. So then I just tell the story, and people say you're making it up. Like, no, I'm not. I just don't want their personal information out there.
Yeah. Well, once we get there, I guess we could also try to figure out how to upload just the parts that need to be heard and whatever is just personal. Just try to cut it. I think I know someone who knows how to do that. But we'll figure that out when we get there,
Well, hopefully it's not somebody who wants to turn around when you're halfway here.
Yeah. Well, it's the same person that came to help last time with
me. Badass.
Yeah. Well, he agreed to come. I have to talk to him and just to make sure that he's not backing out. I mean, I'm sure he won't, but, we never know,
Yeah.
Yeah, so we gotta see about that, and like we could use all the help we can get right now. We need those numbers, gotta make them count.
Well, could you share some of my story?
Yeah, like about just the personal stuff, or more of the other things.
Well, I'm recording this video on YouTube. I mean, it's not that difficult to share it.
Yeah. All right. What part do you want to talk about?
Actually, I'm gonna send you a link on YouTube from a guy named George. He's one of the witnesses here.
Okay.
That doesn't work. All right, this is George, witness to assault and harassment, teasing, hazing by the guards at Boulder County Jail. Copy link address. Star Mejia. Let me see. I said you missed my call 22 hours ago.
I did?
Yep.
Well, we're talking now.
Yes, ma'am. But there's George, witness to assault and harassment, teasing and hazing. I'm going to post that in the live link here on this video too.
Okay.
But he's a witness to the assault in Boulder, one of them. That was actually a 4-day long assault. Let's see, this one right here. Let's listen to a couple seconds of it. It might be a bit. There doesn't appear to be any sound to it.
Well, better watch that after we're done talking.
Yes, ma'am. There's a few of them on here that I don't know why the sound disappears magically on really important ones. Like this one right here. There might be some stuff later on when I go through it that I'll go, well, why isn't that on there? I remember saying that. Or why isn't it recording anything at all? You've already seen the thing with Waylon Lolatai in Boulder. That I didn't get to show you the paperwork that it has his name on it, but obviously there's the video of him assaulting me that's on my YouTube, so there's that.
Yeah.
I wanted to show you the stuff from my court case in Larimer County. That's the jail that I just got out of. Logan County arrested me for Larimer County. Larimer County had me on a failure to appear. That failure to appear was because of the situation where I was in Arapahoe County and was unable to actually appear at court. But that all comes from the Clearview behavioral health thing. And we know what happened there. That was a pretty screwed up assault, too. I'm trying to find the paperwork that I had from the jail. So I can hold it up to the screen and show. Oh, here it is. My trip was messing with me pretty hardcore. Well, what else can you remember about it? Like the terrorist guy. Was that a figment of my imagination, or did that guy legit want to kill people with my engine?
Well, no, he did. He even mentioned that he wanted to use it, like, for a tap or something like that. He said, and it was a phone call you were recording right there. It couldn't have been made up. I mean, the phone call was being recorded and it was on video. It was a live stream as well. So I mean, yeah, there's no way to deny that part. That part was real. Now, when y'all were talking about, the way it would be built built and all the stuff that would go into making it. And then you were talking about how the purpose of it wasn't for anything like what he wanted, to kill anybody or, for anything violent, And, you just, I don't know, he just sounded so casual about it, like it was just, it was really weird the way he talked about it, because it was just like he was making like trying to just purchase any other thing that you'd buy every day, but it was to cause harm, not for anything normal.
Exactly. And see, that's the thing. People think that these stories are fake, like I'm just making this stuff up, trying to pretend that I'm schizophrenic. I told all these people's stories for years because they're true. I told Alexis's story, although a lot of it's been destroyed, and Catherine, he knows her as Katie, but like, yeah, she died too. And there's a lot more. I mean, Shady Dan, and that's not even his real name, but let me type that in there. Go ahead and speak some more. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, it was a pretty long video. I don't really remember exactly everything just because I'm not really the best at stuff that would involve anything like that. Um, but you're basically talking about how it works, how it's created. I remember you were mentioning like you use something for mousetrap, or you use a mousetrap to show it. And then you talked about like the way what was it? It was something about like the gas and how you wouldn't really have to use up a lot of it by using water to get it to work. It was something like that. You guys really went into detail about all of it, and he was trying to call you back later or something to talk more about it. But I don't really remember that much. Mostly because for me it's confusing when you're talking about stuff that works that way, like building in general. Yeah, it's hard for me to remember stuff like that. I'm not the best at that, but like I do remember the part where he did talk about, trying to use it. And he didn't mention that he was a terrorist, I think, but he did say he did want to cause harm and he wanted to use it to attack. I think that's what he said.
Yep, in Azerbaijan. By the way, Azerbaijan was their war started 10 months ago. That call with that man was almost 2 years ago.
Wow.
So it was obviously something where he was preparing for something that did become an eventuality, that war in Azerbaijan. I didn't get to show you the emails between him and I, but they're also on here. That's the thing about not having much time, not having access to this stuff. And when we did get access to it, we had to run around and try to do some sort of damage control on what the police were doing.
Yeah. This is more that he really seemed to know his stuff. He didn't sound like one of those stupid people that were just doing it and wanted to try it out. Like, it did sound like he knew what he was talking about, which made it even more creepy because, when you know that somebody knows a lot of this stuff, it's like, wow, they're actually dangerous, they're serious, It wasn't just some dumbass saying, oh, I'm going to kill people and just don't even know the first step on how to do something crazy like that. So,
yeah, it's a lot different than talking to somebody who's schizophrenic about how like they're some sort of purple space alien or some sort of evil demon creature from underground or they're Jesus or something. Like this is a legit intelligent person wanting to kill people.
Exactly, yeah. He didn't even sound like a crazy person until you kind of start to listen and understand what you were talking about and what his intentions were with what you were building. Like, and he didn't mention anything about no voices. He didn't say anything about, neither did you, there was nothing about that. It's like, there was nothing about imagination. It was all just stuff that was technical and fact, two people. One who wanted to create something for fun, the other one trying to use it to harm people. Yeah.
I made that engine. I made that engine with a friend of mine named Josh Hughes.
What happened?
The original engine of that, I made it with a guy named Josh Hughes. I made it in a shop that we had out on 75th and Arapahoe, just outside of the Boulder city limits in Boulder, Colorado. I had pictures of that engine in Virginia. I took it to Virginia with me so I could show it off. I was thinking about trying to show it to some of the aircraft companies there that build airplanes or build helicopters. But it's because of the Kawanda style. It's a Kawanda Tesla valve that I created myself and designed with an internal and external tube, so that one of them could be a pulse jet and then the other one would be a steam pulse. So basically it's two engines in one. One of them runs off of fuel and the other one runs off of water. And the excess heat that normally destroys a pulse jet, the water cools it down so it doesn't destroy itself. And that water, in the process of pulling away that heat, turns into steam and makes it even more potent. It also makes it, believe it or not, it makes it quieter.
Oh, yeah, that's what you were talking about.
Yep, but I got pictures of that from my phone. And matter of fact, it's on Trash to Treasures and Airplane Enthusiasts in Facebook. But also, the last time I saw that engine is I took it over to Miss Peach's house when I was trying to get help right after I was assaulted at Ken and Leah's. And that was when we found out that Natalie disappeared, and I haven't seen the engine since. I left it at Miss Peach's. I took everything out of my backpack that was not evidence to help find Natalie. And when I took all of that evidence down to show the cops in Natalie's case, like, they didn't really seem interested in jack shit. They checked my hand to see if I had any gun stuff on my hands. They took my phone for a couple of minutes and brought it back. And they took my computer. Well, they didn't take it. I fucking forced it into their hands. I'm like, fucking goddamn it, anything that'll help find Natalie, you fucking take it and you go find her. Like, that was my worst nightmare. That was my dread for an entire year before she died, was getting that phone call. And when I got it, like, oh my God. And Peaches was there, and her conversations are here on YouTube about that. She's mad at me for posting those videos on YouTube, and I'm like, hey, you could have gone in with me to make those cops take that report. You could have gone in with me and helped me to record that so they couldn't make it their word against mine and just call me mentally ill and get away with it. And that's how all these people get away with it. They call me mentally ill, and then they don't have to look it up. They just take somebody else's word for it.
Yeah. Yeah, just like Bird.
Yeah.
And Jones, or Sergeant Jones, because she went by what she was told to.
And so that's the thing, is that Burr, I went to him about Officer Hahn and about Scott DaCosta hiding all this shit back in 2018. Yeah. They never once got back to me, and now they're trying to pretend like I never went to them for help.
Yeah, they're all lying after lies.
Well, at least the stuff with you can verify that it's a lie. Miss Peaches was too afraid to do so. Candace was too scared to do so. A lot of people were too scared to come forward.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that don't know me, they're nut jobs that know me only through these web sleuth groups, I mean, they're interested in death and shit like that. Rihanna I knew in person, but, all these death shows, they scare the shit out of me. The whole time I was there, she was watching the Bates Motel, and I'm like, this is traumatizing me. You're drunk, and we're watching stuff about the Bates Motel. There's two impressionable little girls in here who need to be better cared for. I don't have any power here. I don't own any of it. I don't have the rights to anything here. I mean, I'm basically stuck here. And in this abusive situation, hoping that Brianna will get some help.
Yeah.
Like the kind of help that people assumed I needed. She needed drug and alcohol counseling. She needed to get off of that stuff. And she needed to stop hitting Amy Spencer's kids just because she missed her boys.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to sound like one of those parents that thinks they're better than anybody else, but honestly, people don't really think about how much TV affects kids, especially when people watch violent things that involve death, murder, all that gore. It's just like kids aren't ready to see that. You want to see it on your own time, okay, but if somebody tells you they're not comfortable with that, or you know that your kids are young, there's really no reason for you to be watching that when they're around. It's like it's not hard. It's just take some time by yourself to watch that kind of stuff.
Yeah, not watch it all day, every day. At Sally Treon's, I should show you that one. There's a woman who was there while I was at Sally Treon's, and I'm gonna post that up. In the Facebook Messenger, I sent you a video called "For Peaches the Liar." You've probably seen the comments in that one. All of those comments, all 116 of them, are conversations with witnesses. All 116. There are hundreds more that I can't post up. There are hundreds more that are posted up. There's a lot of people that are mad at me because I showed the truth. Somebody has to.
Yeah.
Does that make me sound crazy? Because I am.
Well, honestly, for me, that's not crazy at all. You're doing what you had to do. You're not doing this because you want to. You're not doing this because you don't care. You're doing this because you do care, because you need something to happen. I mean, it's understandable. I mean, any person with a sane mind would know that this stuff that you're doing isn't because you're just some crazy person trying to out anybody, like friends. If you're trying to out anybody, it's the police not doing their job.
Right. So, what's your impression of me?
Honestly, my impression is that, well, it's a good one. Even when I only knew about you through the videos, I mean, if there was no other way to see it, at least for me, seeing how you were acting, everybody wanted to call you crazy, and people would insult you and just make fun of you whenever you talk about something painful, So when they would get mad about you yelling or cursing or insulting someone, I remember I even made a comment in your defense because, I mean, they were just acting like you were doing too much and there was nothing to you. And I'm just like, if this stuff is happening to you, just maybe 1/5 of what happened to him, you would be going crazy yourself, So when I saw that, I just didn't see why people needed to get so offended by someone who is in pain and in danger, someone who was going through a lot of shit. Like, who would be happy? Who would be talking nicely and calmly? Like, no one would do that. And they can't expect you to do it either. But when I met you in person, you weren't like that at all, because obviously you're not just some crazy person who's never going to have a time where, during the videos, you were going through panic attacks. I remember you talking about it. You can really see it. You were always stressing your posts in the videos. But, without the videos, when it was just a normal time and you were just trying to get through your day, you were normal, Like I said, you're funny and you make some hilarious jokes, You can be a little goofy and, you're really nice, they're not mean at all, As long as someone's not trying you or trying to give you any bullshit, you're good, you don't really spit any shit with anybody. You're not someone just trying to fight everyone or anything stupid like that. You're just a person who's trying to get through in life, someone who just wants something to be done about the things that the police isn't doing anything about, the murders and the assaults and everything. I mean, there's nothing about it that I can say is even rational, Like, you're doing what you have to do. You're trying to get through in life, and I don't think anybody can blame you for being who you are.
They do, though.
Yeah, they do, but they really shouldn't. And if they knew Like, even what I know right now, it should be enough to shut them up. Just the videos themselves should have been enough to shut them up. But, people like to be trolls, like to be assholes. They treat you like you're just some clown entertainment person instead of a person who's trying to actually find help. They treat you as a joke. Honestly, I think they're the real animals. People like that.
You can't say that, though. If you say that, they call you crazy. And they lock you up in a different jurisdiction and inject you with some drugs so that they can call you crazy and get away with it. They'll literally push you to suicide. I got a stack of papers with me right now that is just the stack of papers that I got from the Department of Health and Human Services, and it's just from the last couple of weeks in jail. It's not that I never wrote anything. I mean, I wrote this one, I wrote this one, I wrote this one, and this one, and this one. Oh, right here. All right, at the Larimer County Jail, Jackson. His badge number is 20138 at the Larimer County Jail. I took notes on everybody that I was there with, every single one of them. I wrote who they were, what their names were. I wrote it all down. Now, the thing about Jackson, he used to work at Clearview, and he was telling me, well, they found the guy that killed Natalie. Yes, I know they found the guy that killed Natalie, but every single case since then has been over the Natalie case and these officers that I went to begin with, trying to hide the fact that I went to them to start. I'm a disabled person who can't defend himself against these predators. I showed the stuff with Tim Beeson, and I want to show you that live on my YouTube while showing it to you on Facebook so that you can verify I'm telling the truth, because people pretend that I'm cutting out pieces and not showing pieces. I overlap everything so that you can see that I don't leave anything out.
Yeah.
But I wrote down he's funny, banter, enjoyable bullshit, worked at Clearview in 2016, 2017. He also told me that the name of another doctor there was Dr. McCoy, and he remembered that because it was the name of a doctor off of the movies. He was a park ranger, and he said he couldn't do anything about it because he was too low on the totem pole. But he knew about Clearview before they ever did anything to me. This man knew about what Clearview was doing. So he can show that this is something that was going not only ongoing. Tony Kovaleski, he started his investigation a year after I had spoken out about Clearview. And this man started work in 2016 at Clearview, and he was also working as a park ranger at the time. He and his lieutenant had some differences of opinion. So he left the park rangers, and he also left Clearview Behavioral Health. But that's the facility that I literally just got out of jail for. They claim that I assaulted staff. No, they put those drugs in me just 3 days or 2 days, something like that, after I had been injected with ketamine and Ativan at another facility. You can't do that to a human being. How do you expect somebody to function properly when you have injected them with a disassociative? I mean, literally, that it's meant to make them crazy. That's literally what it does. And they're saying it's for treating depression.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so his name is Jackson. Jackson, his badge number is 20138. If you get his name out there and his number out there anywhere that you can. I have your stuff that you sent to the State Patrol. My Aunt Mary is supposed to get some stuff in the mail from Meg, my autism advocate. Meg, there's a lot of recordings with her where she tells me a lot of private information, and that's the thing with most of my evidence. These people are telling me their private information. When I'm trying to get help from them, they're trying to share their stories, and then they don't want their stories on the internet. I'm like, hey, I'm going to show everything. If you want to tell me anything and you don't want it on the internet, then you need to come forward with it in court. You need to fight as hard as I am, because I am at the end of it. I mean, there are so many things here. These are all Larimer County Sheriff's Office jail inmate requests, and I got 10 or 12 of them here. I got a Natalie's dove. I made these doves right after Natalie died. I started making them. I wrote down Deputies Perez and Armin of Larimer County have repeatedly denied me the right to have an investigator present. Both have attempted to intimidate me into not making a police report, making every excuse to talk over me and down to me. They refused to allow me a voluntary statement form, same as last time. Igaz is now on duty. He is a straight-up bully. He saw that I requested 5 voluntary statement forms and 2 inmate request forms and immediately got an attitude. I also wrote about different tactics that they use. Here's one about Waylon Lola High Vista Hospital. Here's one about Sarah Rubiolo. She's somebody that I helped to find back in the day. Andossi deputy is being demeaning, demanding, and irrational, as well as threatening towards me. He started off as a gentleman, but is now being a jerk. Natalie Bollinger disappeared 3 years ago today. Last night, he was a much nicer fellow. He was listening today. He told me when I pressed the button to give him 30 minutes. Sounds reasonable, but I don't have a clock, so it is not reasonable. I pressed it after what I thought was 30 minutes. Deputy Andossi also got angry and said, I told you an hour and 30 minutes. So I waited for what seemed like hours. He did 7 rounds, and I pressed the button and said I was sorry for upsetting him. He started threatening to have me thrown in a Bam Bam suicide smock to have me and dragged to booking. Then he proceeded to, and this is the thing, when they take you to booking, you have a hole in the floor to piss in, literally. That's what you get. That is literally how it is. You get put in a green suit, it's cold, you have a cement floor to sleep on, and like it's not hygienic, it's just nasty. And there is so much here. I wrote one here. It says things cops say when you try to turn in a cop. Why do you need a report? Just tell me. I'll tell you if it's illegal. You need to leave. Tell me what you did wrong. I'm about to arrest you. You are under arrest. We don't have paper reports. How do I know that isn't self-inflicted? Stop resisting. I believe my officers. I'm not the one who did it. Why are you telling me? Have you been drinking? Are you on drugs? Do you have a history of mental illness? Deputies have made every excuse, plus bullying and harassment tactics since I arrived in Colorado to deny me basic human rights and access to Jill Gook and my attorney. They won't give me the number to the public pretender's office either. Ask the man in SPC 1 who gave me the number when Deputy Torres denied it to me with excuses like it's not his job and he isn't allowed to give out that info. This is after a week of trying to reach Jill Gookin, who does not work with the public defender's office, so it's not a free call. I don't have her number or address. And this is an issue I had in Clearview a year earlier as well. I mean, this is all stuff that people, you have gone through it. You've gone with me while these officers give me this treatment and give us both this treatment in person. Like you have lived through just a small portion of it. Is it overwhelming or is it overwhelming?
It is, and especially the way they talk to you, it's like, they're not even, that officer, we went in there and we were all sitting together trying to talk to him. He didn't want to listen. He just wanted to do the talking first off,
How many times do you think he interrupted me?
What happened?
How many times do you think he interrupted me to tell me some excuse why he couldn't listen or couldn't do anything?
Oh, that was like, I know damn sure it was over 5, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't just a lot, it was pretty constant, like the entire time you couldn't really finish anything, and then eventually it just got to the point where I guess you realized that we weren't going to get through to him, like he just wanted to keep talking about what he could and couldn't do, and, oh, I already told you that I can just, just let the man finish, I wanted to say that, but at the same time I didn't want to get any problems or just because I wanted him to listen to you. Because there's times where, like, I'm just like, if you just hear what he has to say, you'll know that he's not trying to, insult you. There's times when he takes something up the ass. It's like he's not talking shit about you. This isn't
But
about
they're literally
you.
going out of their way to do that. That's the thing. It's like with every officer all along the way. They all do that. When I try to turn in their superior officers, especially, they say, "Oh, well, I'm not the one who did it," or the part what you were just talking about, where they get angry, like I'm trying to insult them personally, or that's all along. I can prove that all of these officers from the very start have been like that, and they try to separate it. Like, well, we need to separate it, the stuff that happened in this county from the stuff that happened in the last county. I'm like, I was transferred to this county from the last county for a reason. I wasn't just magically hatched out of an egg into your infirmary at the hospital. That is not how this works. But legally, they're telling me that's how it works. I'm like, that's not how it worked for the Bollingers. You told them the opposite of what you told me, and they were my predators, whereas they had to threaten, harass, and intimidate myself and my loved ones in order to play that part. I want to show you all the threats against me and all of the people that messaged me saying, "I'm sorry, Sean, I got to dip out. They're threatening my family."
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and all I saw was that one in person, because most of the officers that I talked to, it was through the phone. That was the one I really saw in person. But, he was doing exactly what you've already told me about all the others, just doing that crap where they're just talking about how it's not their fault, it's not their job, and, just refusing to listen, you try to say something and he interrupts you, then when you try to respond, he'd be like, "Oh, listen, I'm trying to talk," it only mattered when he wanted to say something, but whenever, he didn't even listen to me at the last part when we were already about to leave, he interrupted me too, and I'm just like, we're about to leave, you could just let me finish. We're not going to be wasting any more of your time anyway.
Well, they got to make sure that I don't get to finish anything, because if I get to finish anything, then it means that they heard it and they have to do something. They were a lot worse at the Logan County Jail and also at booking in Larimer County Jail. Both of those need to be, the tapes from those need to be requisitioned. I mean, they put me through hell. They wouldn't let me finish a sentence. I told them there were safety issues. And instead of listening to my safety issues, they kept cutting me off and telling me I was safe, I was safe, I was safe. And all of my safety issues, they ended up violating because they weren't listening. They didn't want to hear it. They just wanted an excuse to shut me up or hurt me.
Yeah. Yeah, he really tried to act like he was trying to help or do something, and it's just, you can tell when someone's trying to help, because when they're trying to help, they're listening to the problem. They're not just trying to talk and tell you what you need to do. He just kept telling you what you needed to do, and you try to explain that that's something you already tried. And like you said, when he was talking about how he was at the jurisdiction and you got transferred there, you told him that multiple times, and whenever you would, he would try to turn it around into something else, and it's just like, oh, we're never going to get anything done. That's how I felt. I mean, that's exactly what happened. I'm pretty sure he hasn't done anything to this day, So they just pretend that nothing happened.
Well, I wrote a lot of stuff down. It's not like I wasn't trying. It's the fact that, all right, no matter what, it wasn't good enough. I tried telling people from the start, you got to go in with me or they're going to pretend it's not real. And with that one there, one of them, I'm talking to Deputy Holloway, and he's like, "Well, we don't know if that's manufactured." And I'm like, "Oh my God, dude, see, that's the point." It's like when I was at the Starbucks in Cheyenne County, like Maggie Scott, she gave me permission to stay there the night because I was out of gas and I was stranded. So, and she got in trouble for that, and they said, "Well, if you're, how do we know you didn't write that?" And there's a lot of foreign officers. That video is actually on YouTube. That interaction with those officers and how they were treating me, and I was like, here's the thing: is that I have permission to be here. But that's the thing. If that other person doesn't come forward, they just pretend that I made it up every single time. And I tried explaining that to Miss Peaches. She was like, "Well, I tried speaking up." I'm like, "Did you go in with me?" Because in court, they didn't say anything about it. They said that nobody said anything and nobody came forward. And I know for a fact that Mandy Hughes came forward and tried to. But my public pretender wasn't going to do anything about it. Jill Dickin didn't do anything. Zoe Tanner didn't do anything. Catherine Hay didn't do anything. Stephanie Cotton didn't do anything. Amanda Balehash didn't do anything. Many of these people got to move on to other jurisdictions. A lot of them got promoted. Amanda Balehash, she was supposed to be my public pretender in Boulder. But now in Adams County, the county where they're covering up for the wrongdoing of those officers, she's now a judge there.
Wow. That's, man, it's just like everybody who's ruining someone's life, it's like, good job. Here's your promotion.
Yep. Joel J., you remember I sent you that thing about the KKK in Chapel and how all that stuff was found in the attic of the county prosecutor's office? Yeah. Joel J. was that county prosecutor. I went to him about Sheriff Scott Cost in 2018. He wouldn't do anything, and now he's a judge in Kansas. So he can't be pursued because it's crossed jurisdictional boundaries. Cody Selhorst, who tried to scare me out of town, and I tried to turn him and Han in. Well, Cody Selhorst was transferred to South Dakota, Rapid City, matter of fact, where Jamie Curtis lives.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's out of jurisdictional boundaries and cannot be pursued. And then there's Jordan Anderson. Just a couple of days after the incident at my grandma's funeral, he was let go of the Chapel Police Department so that he couldn't be pursued. And then there's the and I believe he went to Colorado is what they said, but I'm not for certain. And then there's Pamela Carty, who is no longer with the public pretender's office in Arapahoe County. She's been transferred. And meanwhile, all of these places are places that broke the law across multiple jurisdictions in order to make sure that I couldn't turn them in, to keep me from turning them in, to keep it making it look like I was some sort of a lunatic, when in reality, I was going through hell. I was being assaulted. I was being harmed. I was having my life and my family's lives threatened. And the thing is, like the recordings that I have with my family, you know, most of them, the ones with Riley and the ones with Tara and the ones with my niece and the ones with, like, I haven't posted those all over the internet for a reason. And I've got plenty. The guy that I was staying with, I've got some with him, and they're not posted up because there's safety issues. And then there's the ones with Wendell, and they're not posted because of the safety issues. And then there's the ones with, like, so many people that I can't post them up because of the safety issues. It's not that I don't want to. It's not that I don't have the evidence. It's that unless it's absolutely necessary, I'm not going to do it. The guy that I was staying with, he's afraid for his kids, and I have to protect him and his kids. And the same thing with Candace Bondurant, the same thing with Mandy Hughes. All of these people who, their excuse is that they're trying to keep their kids safe. I get that, but I have to worry about all of them and all of their kids and all of their safety and my safety. I have to worry about these things. These are people that I legitimately love, not people I'm just pretending to care about because I want something. And there's Miss Peaches and her kids, and in the videos with Miss Peaches, she talks about that too, about how she had to be afraid for her kids. She talks about that a lot.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, you know. A lot of people forget about that. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I admit that I feel like I probably talked a lot about personal things, and I'm sorry about that. I did not.
Well, that's why those videos aren't up. There's only like 7 or 8 of them that from you, but some of these people, there's at least 20 or 30, and the 7 or 8 with you that aren't posted up. I mean, I can go through them and maybe find 1 or 2 of them still that I could post up because they're not too personal. But like, you see how difficult it is to actually stop and listen, especially when it's something that you know is going to be posted up on the internet. It's difficult not to share those things and not to talk about that. Whereas right now, since it's a live video, it's a lot easier to remember that. But we didn't have that access, did we?
No. Yeah, and it's just well, I guess because, you know, when some people are not sober, it also kind of I message it up too, because even if they do know, they'll probably forget, or maybe at that time they don't care because they're not thinking clearly.
Yep.
All that.
And that's the problem with most of these people. That's the problem with Natalie Bollinger. That's the problem with Licia Bollinger and Danica Garner and Rochelle Shelley Campbell and Ken Wilson and Leah Plunkett and Shannon Alvarado and Brett Roloff. Like, all of these people are people who are on drugs. Even Todd Ryan Case, like, he was all trashed on ketamine, while I was over there, and that was right after Natalie was killed. With Peaches, all she messes around with is weed, but at the same time, she gets zoned into her phone and she's stuck there. Plus, she was working as a security guard at the mall, the 16th Street Mall, and no, 28th Street in Boulder, I'm sorry. And, like, she's also having to sell pot to try to make ends meet. She's trying to keep her and Raja and her two boys in housing, and she's trying to do her best by me, but I mean, she's out of money, and all of these people with their frustrations, it's just like you with your frustrations with money. You see how fast that money went, how little got accomplished, and how the police were able to basically cut off all the help that we needed every step of the way.
Yeah. Yeah, now, well, money is temporary anyway, so I don't really worry 100% about the money. But, also got to remember that money is something that it's a resource that we use to get things to happen. So I do worry to an extent about it, because it is something that in this society we use. But,
well, there was no way through any of this that I was going to be able to defend myself. And a lot of people don't want to hear that. They don't want to pay attention to that.
It was pretty damn rough, though. I mean, if I was rich, though, shit, I would blow all the money just to help you out. And, well, sadly, I'm not. If I was, I would have done it already. And I would probably still be over there trying to help you.
Well, I'm trying to pull up a couple of conversations with my friend Brett Roloff, because I want to send them to you as well. The reason for that is because he's another witness to what I was going through, both before and after Natalie's death, and in Virginia. He was one of the people that I was going to visit. Let's see. Copy link address. This one is called Brett Roloff's Stalkers, because he's a good-looking man, and good-looking men, they get stalkers as well.
Yeah.
So this one isn't so much words from him, but it's about some of the stuff that he's going through. Actually, there's a better way to do it. I can go to my channel. I have a couple of stalkers of my own right now. One of them is Sandy Fromm and her friend Shelly.
They're still doing it?
Oh, hell yeah. People don't like it when you speak out. They'll go to the ends of the earth to try to make you seem like the crazy one.
Mm.
Well, you see how hard the cops are trying.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, I thought at first that it was just the cops, but when you told me about that, I knew that when you said something about her, I didn't know that she was still trying to this day.
Yeah, she threatened me not too long ago. That's the thing. It was only a couple of months ago, but the thing is, getting somebody to listen, that's the hard part. Let's see. Here's the assault by Waylon Lolatai. I suppose I could probably copy that to it a couple of times. This is a lot of videos to watch, though. I don't expect you to actually watch them all. But there's 3 of them in this series. And and I'm posting all those up to your, well, not directly to your Facebook. They're going to Messenger. Yes, ma'am. But you can share them from there and explain what's going on.
Yeah.
They try to pretend like I'm trying to bite them. Like, I got 0 fucking teeth. What am I going to bite them with? They try to say that I was trying to assault him with a weapon, and there's no weapon there. Here's one also. This has got Laura Nelson in it, and Graham, and they're in a lot of my stories too. This is actually the one with Jordan Anderson, where I'm talking about how I'm trying to turn in Ted Bollinger. That's Natalie's dad, the one that raped her. Here's one from Melissa Rainwater. This one's important. She's one of the witnesses too. She was actually a 911 operator the night that Natalie Bollinger was killed. She said, we knew right away, and so did the officers. We knew right away that there's no way you did it. But she didn't come forward in court about that. And the police just let people hurt me all they wanted. Here's one from Brett Roloff. I don't know if it's a conversation with him or if it's me talking about the situation, but I told the truth all along the way. Here's a couple with Brian Schwartz. That's my dad. Here's some with Christine. Here's one from Christopher Tapp. This is a pretty important one because he's in my stories too. I mean, these are all the people that I went to before and after Natalie was killed for help. Darren O'Connor, he's something of a pretendy hero in Boulder, pretends that he fights for hobo rights, but really he's out for himself. There's a lot of homeless people that are pissed off at him right now. Here's one with David Nelson, Graham, Joshua Hebert, Jeff Ritter. I mean, there's all these different people. Here's some from Cammie Jepson. Here's some from Katie Cahill. Here's some from Laura Nelson. Some more with Peaches, Missy Richards, Nicole Peralta. Here's another one from Mandy Hughes, Brandon Ratner. A couple more from Peaches. I mean, there is so many here. Here's one with like, see how I'm trying to post these up, and there's just so many of them. Like, how are you going to go through all of those and separate them all and all that? Here's some with Terry Jepson. Here's some with Tabby. There is so much. The one that I'm looking for right now is here's some more from Mandy. Mandy Hughes. Here's one from Katie Cahill. She's one of the people who was going to pretend like she was going to help me.
Yeah, over.
I got random people.
More than 9 now, though.
I got random people commenting on my stuff that it's all full of lies. Even with you verifying that I'm telling the truth. Let's see. Here's some from Amanda Engeline. Here's some from Brenda Dickinson.
So now we're both crazy or something?
We are all crazy, aren't we?
I guess my friend is crazy. Your friend is crazy.
Yep. Apes Together Strong, Homeless Issues, Miss Candace, Toxic People, Selfish Addictions, Missing Women of Hardin, Montana, Destroying the First Amendment, Julia Wolf, Family Guardian. Julia Wolf, she's a really cool lady. She lives in Hardin, Montana. Awareness of Autism and Dangers of Drugging, Crooked Cops, Abel Ramos Call, and Colorado Blue Line of Bullshit. This one is a conversation with Abel Ramos. He's a cop in Boulder that a lot of us know. He used to be like a homeless liaison. And then Gogasian Weaponry, copy link address. This is the one with the terrorist dude. If you could forward that to the FBI, that would be much appreciated. Not that they'll listen to you. This one is with a young woman named Nicole, who I know from Chapel, Nebraska. She talks about Jamie Curtis and Todd Rust and a few other witnesses. See, another one with Jaron O'Connor, still exposing predators, attempted suicides. Let's see, patterns of addiction, Wyoming cops who do their jobs. Good men do it for the kids, not the moms. More calls with Jaron O'Connor. God, there are hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of videos. Here's one with, although this one was cut off. This one was between me and Maddie Boa. Like, you see how impossible this is to get through it all.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. I'm trying to find those ones in specific from Brett Roloff. Those are pretty important. Here's some hospital visits while I was in the hospital in Cheyenne. All right, we should be getting close to it because it was in the bathroom there. Here's some cops in Cheyenne, Wyoming while I was at the Walmart there. They were pretty Nazi. This one's called Creepy Blonde Pretty Girl. She was kind of the reason that this happened. She was creepy, though. Here's a poem for Natalie. It's only 34 seconds long, so it's something you might watch. Let's see. Yesterday's appointment. I also saved all of my appointments at the mental health place there. That's where all of my money in Cheyenne was going, was to that mental health place. Let's see. Called Officer William Barr. This is the officer. Oh, here's one copy link address. This is Cara Mia, aka Cara Rogers. She's one of the wingnuts that was supposed to be helping me, but turned out she was full of it. Let's see. There's one about my friend Anna, who would be alive today if the cops hadn't pulled all their bullshit with Natalie. I could have saved Anna. That's what I used to do. That's what I was doing when I went to see Miss Natalie too, was to rescue her at her request. It's not easy, you know?
Yeah.
But people don't want to see this stuff, so I got to go through and send that stuff to you. I got conversations with Jen Beebe, stuff about Mike Boudet, how important our voices are, how important it is to work together. I mean, there is so much in here. Here's a conversation with Des, Pierre Byron, call from Jenner for Jasowski, copy link address. This one was actually while I was at theater, or at therapy, not theater. Jennifer Jasowski is one of the people who was supposed to be a reporter trying to find out the truth about Natalie, but instead she just slandered the shit out of me and called it a job well done. I gave her all of the information that I had. I was as honest with her as I could, and she tried to spin a story for ratings, tried to get a better job. Well, she got hired by Nancy Grace as a result of it. It was disgusting.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So Nancy Grace has no credibility in my mind. I'm still going through trying to find the call with Moose. I mean, because I was in Cheyenne, Wyoming a couple of times. I'm getting another call from a restricted number. These guys really hate me.
Goodness, yeah. You're famous.
Infamous.
Oh yeah.
Here's one from Peaches on Chloe and Todd that shows I was telling the truth about that situation too. Like I spilled the beans, but I told the truth. And every bit of it was to help save lives. If there were no lives at stake, I wouldn't have had to do any of this. And it wasn't just my life at stake, you know?
Yeah.
Now, people say, hey, this stuff's not true, you're lying. And I'm like, it's all over the fucking internet. I'm posting it up. You're not looking. Not my fault. You decided I was guilty and decided that you were going to be evil. Not my fault. Here's one. This is Rick Cormick. This is Shannon Alvarado's boyfriend. You can see and you can hear his voice. Like that dude is so pissed off, and he's such a fucking bloody twat child. No joke. I seriously wanted to tell him to go to Home Depot, get some industrial strength man ponds, and fucking stuff him up there until his heavy flow day is fucking over. See, copy link address. This one's Katie. That's Katie Cahill, and there's probably 20 to 30 of them from her. Let's see, copy link address. She was supposed to help me, and she was pretending like she was a lawyer and all this other stuff. And God, it's just there is such a massive amount of it. More from Peaches. I mean, oh my God, there is still so much on here. I still haven't gotten to that one with Brett Roloff. Bunch more with Katie Cahill. Oh my God, there is so much on here. More calls to Tabby, calls to the FBI. I've skipped most of the calls to the FBI while we were talking. I don't want to post all of those on there, but there are literally hundreds upon hundreds. Without somebody in person, they don't listen. They treat me like I'm crazy, and they try to, instead of listening to people who are trying to turn it in, they try to convince those people not to listen to me by repeatedly calling me crazy.
Yeah.
All right, I found it. It's called Talking the Moose. Copy link address. This is the important one. Well, they're all important actually, but this one right here is me and Moose talking about the situation, about how after I left Virginia, I didn't want to go back and see him in North Carolina because it was too close to Natalie and her family. I didn't want them to be afraid. I've also got that in our text messages between him and I. But also later on, I've also got videos of the travelers. Here's one trying to help Addict 1. There's a whole bunch of these ones. When my phones and stuff got stolen, I've got videos of the situations, not just the phones getting stolen, not just me talking about it, but the actual situations where they got stolen. I mean, these are all true stories, and I'm posting all these directly to your. You seeing these? These videos all actually exist. They're actual videos. A walk in the park, a walk through the park. Teresa Massilia, victim of Boulder, Colorado. This one right here is pretty important. She's another victim. I've been speaking out about all the victims. Here's one. This is my stepmom. I'm just posting this one up here for good measure. But you see, just going through all that would take you 2 days just to go through what I posted up already. Let's see, copy link address. This one is a good one. It's the lady who took my phone. There's about 8 or 9 of them in this series. And this is the lady who stole my phone in Washington State. And then I bought her a new one. a new phone. Here's part 6. Copy link address, because this is where, because I had to buy her a new phone to get that phone back because it was full of evidence, and it ended up getting stolen again anyway. Let's see, the blue line of bullshit. Meth in the morning. This is one of the prostitutes up there that's addicted to heroin. I mean, there's a lot. There are so fucking many. Here, copy link address. This one is one where I am at a Starbucks getting permission to stay the night. Getting the actual permission to do so that I don't get in trouble. Let's see. New Adams County Sheriff, without a proper teacher, Christians, type A and type B. Starbucks employees have done so much for me. I want to recognize more of them than I should admit. Dogs are wonderful. Another restricted call. This one right here is with a witness. This witness is the lady who stole my fucking phone. And this is her dog. Her dog made it okay. But you see, I'm not bullshitting. Oh, here's one. 16 cop cars. We'll post that one to you just because it's wonderful. It's beautiful. It's great. It's crazy. And yeah, seriously, 16. Let's see. Friends of the lady I rescued. Let's see. I'm looking for some very specific videos here in this block because there's one where there's a heroin addict and he's got the heroin needle sticking out of his arm. Let's see, copy link address. This is about Blaine McCrelius. He's the one that was manipulating Miss Peaches for Ken and Leah after all the bullshit that they did, because they can't do it themselves. It'll break the protection order, so they have to have someone else do it for them. Very common tactic. A lot of these guys are druggies, so they know how the system works, and they know how to break past the system. And this is one of those tricks. Dalton Crawford. This is one of Natalie Bollinger and Alicia Bollinger's friends who was threatening my life. And he admits that Alicia Bollinger was in the vehicle with me, or in the vehicle with him when he was threatening to kill me. Facebook bans, to ostracize, TP department 2, 3, 4, 5. The ones that say TP department, that's Tacoma Police, and they did some really messed up stuff. Here's mall security talking about the situation up there, and this will come into play later. There's about 20 or 30 of them in here. Here's one of the prostitutes that was up there. You see how many I've posted already, and I'm having to zoom over a bunch of them. Here's the guy who was sitting by my computer when it was stolen. This guy, he's dead now. He got shot not far from my dad's house. He's a child molester. I mean, oh my God, it's just.
Yeah, I'm looking at the numbers and I'm like, oof, a lot of videos, got some homework to do.
Yeah, that's not 1/1000th of it. Belated pastors, advice ran and the kids, alcoholic issues. Let's see. I'm trying to find the one with the heroin addict who's got the needle in his arm. That one probably got taken down. I don't know. I remember I got a notification about it, but there's one here about Longmont cops assaulting Brian Townsend with a flashlight. His memory is affected by it now. Um, I mean, Computaco, that might be it. Let me see. Yep, yep, this is it. It's the dude with the heroin needle sticking out of his arm. I try to walk by nonchalant to see if he's. Oh, that's when we were trying to get my backpack. Yeah, but that's when I noticed the dude who was there with the heroin needle in his arm. Like he's seriously there, heroin needle in his arm, passed out at the bus station. And the guys who come over and take a look at him, you know who they are? It's the fire department. The fire department's the ones that show up. And they're all pretty much put together in a series so that people will. God, we've had 13 restricted numbers calls since you and I have been on the phone.
Wow. About when
Yeah,
we're not talking.
yeah. See, that's people want to pretend that I'm making this stuff up. I'm like, nope. You don't have to make up stuff like this. I mean, this is.
Honestly though, like who would even want to make any of this up? If I'm gonna make up something, I'd make it something crazy, nothing like this. I mean,
Well, this sounds crazy. Is this not Stranger Than Fiction? You could not make this shit up. Sorry, go ahead. Oh my God, there is so much here. I mean, it's still a scary situation. There's stuff here about Amy Kingery. Here's the 911 call. One of the 911 calls that I made while I was in Rawlins, Wyoming, about Rihanna hitting the kids. And I already sent you the ones about, um, oh my God, there's just so much here. I mean, I haven't gotten halfway through, and these are all conversations with witnesses or actual events, and they're just bits and pieces of them. Here's one called I Hate Drugs. This is while I was at Brett Roloff's up there. I mean, this is all, I'm not trying to make you think that it's all bullshit. I'm sending you the actual stuff. Um, this is Alicia Bollinger. It's a video that was sent to me by Danica Garner when I asked her. It might have been sent by Shelley Campbell. They asked me what I wanted. I said I just want to hear Alicia's voice. I just wanted to know what Alicia wanted from her.
yeah.
If Alicia told me to blow my head off, I literally would. But she'd have to say it herself. See, I can't even begin to. There is just so much of it. I haven't gotten halfway through. We're not even at the second trip uh, to. Here's one to run around just from this morning. That one was from a year ago. Danica Gardner, the predator, be hospitalized again. Mariah Johnson, another victim of bad cops. Um, Slandering Peaches, treating a rape victim like trash, part one and part two. Mountains of ignored evidence. I mean, there's too much, and they're pretending I'm not doing anything when they're not willing to look at any of it. Um, here's Brett Roloff. I'm trying to find the one where he's fucking. Here's the one about him overdosing. It says, "I came here for help, not to see my friend OD." That friend is Brett Roloff. That's Moose, same guy. The one that talks about in that one where the beginning frame is the sink in the bathroom. That's the bathroom in Starbucks in Cheyenne, Wyoming. I actually made it to his place. He had moved to Chesapeake, or not Chesapeake, to Bristol, Virginia. And Brandon Ratner, he's the one that stopped being friends with me recently for telling the truth. Brandon Ratner actually paid for my ticket there. There is a lot of stuff. I told the truth, that's the thing. I told the truth. Um, this is one, these are important. This is one from right before Joseph Lopez court. And this comes in handy later because we get into an argument over, here's one almost ready for Joseph Lopez court. Ted Bollinger came in screaming like a fucking idiot. They knew that I was in there, and this shows that I literally went in there to turn in those officers and the Bollingers. And this is them escorting me out so that I can't. They wanted to make sure that I couldn't. This is just after, let's see, copy link address, just after Joseph Lopez arraignment hearing. Everything that they could do to prevent me from making a report and showing what the Bollingers were doing, they did. They told me how to do it the legal way after I'd already been trying to do that for a whole year before she was dead. And you get to see me trying to do it the legal way afterwards. Literally, you're there as a witness. Let's see. This one's called Methamphetamines and the Volatile Addicts. This is another one up at Brett Roloff's. You see in these videos, and they're all establishing a timeline. And I did get my hospital papers from the Virginia trip, and I showed them. That shows that they did indeed try to diagnose me with diabetes, that I was given a whole bunch of liquids because I was dehydrated. I told the truth.
Yeah.
And there are hundreds and hundreds of them that I'm having to skip over and just show you the ones that are the easiest to show you where they would be. Like some of them that have a number to them. There's probably 5, 6, or 7 of them in the series. If you change the number, you'll figure it out. There's actual schizo nut jobs. Here's when Alicia Bollinger went missing, and I want to show you the stuff with Bobby Forrest because it shows that, yeah, he's the one that let me know that she was missing. It was pretty important to help find her. It was fucking cold as shit. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them in this video series. When I first got there, it was fucking freezing, and I was trying to make these videos. I'm getting pelted with freezing snow, rain, mixed stuff. This one's for Maddie Boa. And I had some people tell me about the area where Natalie was, or where Alicia was found last. Here's this one. It might make it sound like I'm racist against black people. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
and there's screenshots I'm showing of it in that. The Napa Motel. She is tiny. All right, I didn't say that. That's an advertisement from. Let me see what it says. It says The Walking Dead Part 15. I don't know what that's from. It was just the next video. Which, see, I mean, this is all stuff that I've been trying to show the truth the whole time. Just because people don't want to listen doesn't mean it's not the truth. She went missing on my birthday in 2019. I don't have good birthdays. My birthday this year, I drove around a drunk woman who was threatening to kill me and trying to hire people to kill me because I didn't want her drunk ass running over somebody's fucking kids because the sheriff wouldn't do anything about her drinking and driving. I also got conversations between me and Bobby Forrest. I mean, there is so much. That ain't right. Anyway, there's hundreds more. My whole Facebook is full of this stuff. I mean, I got our messages between each other. I got everything needed. All right, here's a copy link address. This is just a few of the places that were on the news. There were, like I said, 17 of the places that I was at were on the news. Here's a call to Arapahoe County Public Protender's Office. And there's also another one that's this one says public pretender turned judge Amanda Balehash. See, I'm not full of shit.
Yeah.
You can see those are actual human beings. Anyway, I suppose I should let you go. I mean, you've listened to me for a while. We've recorded it on here for, I want to say this recording is about 2 hours long. So I suppose I should probably. Here's some from another witness, Joanna Taylor Smith. A lot of my witnesses, they tried pretending like either these people didn't exist or they were altered egos that I had created, like I had been created an artificial account and talked to myself on it for a couple of years, kind of thing. You know, I mean, I got stuff on here from Kara Johnson Miles. I have evidence that I was telling the truth. It's just getting somebody to show it to the cops with me.
Yeah.
This all of the information on my YouTube can get me a new day in court.
think we could do that when we get there, or?
If they don't come and get me first, if they don't find me first. But I got court on the 12th, and they're going to try to railroad me then. Somebody has to fight for me. My Aunt Mary is not equipped to do this. Here's one called Candace Bondurant's mom. Candace Bondurant is one of my former friends who, she's the one I say is my worst friend ever.
You think
She was terrible.
Candace?
Yeah. A lot of my predators that were my friends, they stopped being friends with me while I was in Virginia. They were toxic, they were mean, they were evil, and they were jumping to conclusions and being cruel to me. Here's Deputy Hahn buying booze. That doesn't make him a bad person. I was just pointing out that that's what Deputy Hahn is. That's what he looks like. Okay. Well, I suppose I think there's one more on here where I talk about Alexis, so I'm going to check. I'm not sure if that was on this YouTube channel or the last one because I've spoken out. About all these situations.
Yeah.
And her last name is Valentine, but I didn't know her last name until after she was dead. And I had to read it. So while I knew her while she was alive, it was just Alexis.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna shut this off, I guess, because there's already more than you can watch in a full week of spare time.
All right. Yeah, I'll start. Well, I don't know where to start, but I'm gonna just click on a random one and I'll just try to get to all of them.
Yes, ma'am. Well, if you start at the beginning, that'd probably work easiest because they are in order from first to last. The one with Moose or Brett Roloff, those are important ones as far as part of the situation with Natalie. But the thing is, like, start from the beginning, you'll see all of it. Most of those are parts of the series, so there's going to be 5 or 6 of them in the series. You probably won't have time to look at all of them, but it shows enough the story to show that I'm telling the truth.
Yeah. And also, there's some that I've already seen, so that also kind of helps. Like what is this one? Boulder County Police Department Assault 2, saw that one, and the first one, and the third one, and yeah, there's like I think 2 more that I saw already. I'm probably still gonna go through those to remember. But yeah.
Well, I guess thank you. And Star?
Yeah.
I want to take some time to listen to you. You deserve it. I'm not trying to be selfish with my time. I just want to make sure that while I'm recording that we do it live. That way you're less tempted to talk about personal information, which could make it so that I can't use it. And I don't want you to feel in any way, shape, or form like that means that you're not worth listening to, or like your problems don't matter, or like I'm trying to diminish any of your pain or any of the things that you're going through, because I know that you're a person too. And I know that you've made a lot of sacrifices to try to help me, and it is not your fault that these things happen.
Yeah, just know that I'll never blame you. And, I'm also, I work to be considerate, I know that right now this is, for you. And if I ever need to talk to you about something, I know that I can when, in a time, like a different time when it's appropriate to do so. I'm not going to hold it against you. This is for you right now. This is something I want to do. It's not just because you want me to. I want to help you too. And if this is something that you need, I'm willing to do it.
Well, everybody says I'm different in person that's met me. So you ain't any different. Am I or am I not a different person in person?
feel like, to be honest, you're real always. You're not fake in any way, shape, or form. You know,
But I'm
everything
funny in
about you.
person.
What happened?
Sorry. I said, but I'm funny in person.
You are. You're really in the videos. You're serious, and everything is pretty morbid. But you know that's the point. You're trying to tell the truth. You know, there's nothing pretty about what you're talking about. But in person, yeah, you're really funny. You're nice, and you know, it's really fun to talk to you, just hang out with you. And you know, if the situations weren't the way they were, I'm sure that we could be having even more fun together.
Right? I agree with that 100%. Anyway, since
Yeah.
we got the video rolling, I'm gonna hang up on you and I'm gonna finish like a 2-minute wrap up, and then if you want to call me back, I'll listen. Sound good?
Yeah, it's fine.
Thank you, Star. You're a badass.
Cool.
Be safe.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
How's my day going? Restricted, 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 restricted. Restricted, 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 restricted. Because apparently I'm schizophrenic who hallucinates stuff like that happen. Yeah. Let's see. Shelly Red, another one of those people who thinks that being rude makes her right. She types, "Why are you talking so much?" Because the truth is important. Bobby typed, "Who are you talking to?" Her name is Star. Bobby also typed, "Who are you talking to on the phone?" Her name is Star. Bobby typed, "Lame." I don't care what you think, Bobby. I'm trying to show the truth, regardless of asshats like you. Happy fucking Kiss Moose.